Alright, let's go and have a look at some standard wardrobe. And this is where we're going to start here. This one's for grain wardrobe. We'll come to that in another video. So if we double click on wardrobe, it'll open up our spreadsheet, and of course we want to start with a clear spreadsheet. Now it's pretty straightforward, except there are some things that we need to put in parameters from time to time depending on what you want to do. Alright, so look, let's just start with something simple like a petition. So if I put one petition, I'll tab across to the down arrow, I'll go and find myself a petition. Now when we put the width in and the depth in, we use these two columns because it makes more sense coming into Biessie Works. So you need to do it like this. This is our parameters that we're going to end up putting in. So our depth, this light blue is the board on the machine. The dark blue represents the piece that you're going to want to cut. So the depth is the depth of the board, the width is across this way. So if you've got a 3600 machine, you can put this up to 3600. If you've got a 2412 machine, then you have to put, this width can be a maximum of 2400. Okay, these parameters here on the outside, L1, R1, E2, E1, what they represent is about getting edging onto the sticker. So we'll have to put those in the parameters, and I'll explain that in a bit more depth as we move through. You should all have a copy of this template, and we'll go through it a bit more in a second when we get up to it. Okay, so as we go into the width on a petition, obviously the width is going to be the length, because we're going across the width of the board as it sits on the machine. So if we put a 1204 petition in, and our depth will be 357. Now these are our cut sizes, of course. So in Canberra we've got an edge bounder that pulls that 1 mil off, so we can type in our finish size. Sydney, Perth, you'll both have to type in 356 for here, because you're edging on. So just remember it's in cut size. Okay, now if we tab across to materials, go and tell it whatever the material is. Now we're going to use what we call 16. This is what you would use for a whiteboard, for example. But it's really only got to come out on the sticker. It doesn't automatically pick up the tool by the material. So you have to tell it what tool to use in the parameters. Now what we've done for safety reasons is set up that if you don't put anything in the parameters, the tool is going to come out as your 1/2 inch cutter. Okay, so to change it to use 10 mil on a piece of 16 mil chipboard, you need to tell it in parameters to use the 10 mil chip cutter. So you do that by typing in chip equals 1. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the PDF. The cutters, now keep in mind that the default is your 1/2 inch MDF cutter, so that you're not going to break a cutter because the feeds and speed rates that we've set up are incorrect. So if you're using whiteboard, you have to punch in chip equals 1, and that'll turn the 10 mil cutter on. Okay, so I'll just go and get rid of that. Now if we wanted to edge the bottom edge, because the petition will come out standard with a 1 long on the sticker. So if we wanted to edge the bottom edge on that, because it's a 1204 petition and it's a particular client or whatever, and you want to come out on the sticker, we would just go back to our PDF. If this is our petition and this is our represents our 1204, that will automatically come out with the front edge turned on the sticker. But if we want to edge the bottom, we need to tell it that L equals 1, so the left side of the piece to be cut on the sheet is equaling 1, or if we wanted the top to be cut, we'd have to tell it that R would equal 1. So I'm just going to go and tell it L1 as a parameter, keeping in mind that the front edge, or E1, is always or is preset in there to come out edged. Okay, so L equals 1. I've turned on 2 different parameters. Tab across, give it the customer name, and the customer name is Smith. Smith 12. Okay, so we'll just go and step straight into it, and we'll come back to another thing like the drawers. Smith 12. Okay, so off into Biessie Works, and enable add-ins, Biessie Nest, Smith 12. Okay, keeping in mind this is an old program that's on the screen. Okay, so if I double click on there, this app partition has just popped out. You can't see it here, but on the sticker it'll tell it to produce an edge here, and it'll tell it to produce an edge across here. And I'm going to go back and do the same partition, but I'm going to turn this route off as well. Okay, so we'll just go back to our spreadsheet. Pretty sure this is it. And I'm just going to go in here. Let's do it up here. I don't know if it needs to be in capitals or not. So if I now tell it to turn the route off, which is route equals 0, I've now got 3 different parameters in there that I'm turning on and off. Three different things going on. Well, 2 going on, 1 going off. 0 being off, 1 being on. Okay. So I'll export that again as a different name, Smith 13. Okay, so back into Biessie Works. Now this is our old file, of course, and this is the route that we're going to turn off. So we're going to have to go and bring the new file in. Smith 13. Let's go nest that file, right click, nest. Press OK. Now here it's nested for me, so I'm just going to double click, and there the route has been turned off. So we now have this job being cut with the 10mm cutter. We now have this job being cut with an edge, the sticker coming out with an edge on the front here and an edge on the bottom, and the route has been taken out. Now keep in mind that 1204 is a multiple of 32 plus 20. This program works very nicely with these holes being 10 from the top and 10 from the bottom. Any odd number that you get come through, yeah, look, you might end up with a half hole coming through. So you need to be aware that that half hole may not work with this program. So you need to try and keep within those standards. Multiple of 32 plus 20. So if you've got an odd size, you know, look, honestly, if somebody's going to quibble over 20mm, and we've tried to make it suit what we do with our programming, then they probably don't want our product in the first place. Okay, so don't let designers tell you specific sizes, because that's not really how things work. I'm just going to go back to here. This here is you need it all the time. Now where it comes a little bit unstuck in your head is there are a couple more parameters that you can turn on and off. But where this comes unstuck in your head is when you're doing drawer fronts, because they have to be set on their side. So let me show you what I mean by that. And what I mean is you want to set them up 90 degrees from how this one's set up. I don't have one drawn, but let's go do one. So if I go back into here, and I'll keep my petition, but I'll go and get 4 drawer fronts. Okay, there's a whole bunch of parts in here. Some have edgings set up on them, some don't. So let's go and do some drawers. So W stands for wardrobe drawer. Tab across, and we have to put it in this way. So the width is 187 by 612, and we'll use the same material because we want it to go onto the same sheet. Again, we have to tell it the chip equals 1. I don't want to tell it all this routing stuff, so I have to go and change all that. Now a drawer always has all 4 edges edged, so it will automatically come out on the sticker. We've set it up in the background, so it will automatically come out on the sticker that it's preset in the parameters in the background that it's already edged all round. Okay, so you have to again do your cut size here, or if you're in Canberra, do your finish size, because we can pull that 1mm off with the pre-milling on our edge bander. Alright, I'm just going to throw one more thing in here. It's going to be an adjustable shelf. So if we, actually, sorry, I'll make it a fixed shelf. Okay, so if we've got a fixed shelf, we want it to come out with the cams already in there, obviously. So what we want to tell it is that it is 600 wide by 356 or 7, depending on where you are. 16 again, and the chip equals 1. You simply have to chip equals 1. Okay, whatever you type here will come out on the sticker. Smith 12. You can, once you've got the one thing up the top there, you can actually come down a level and just press the S, and it'll go in automatically. Okay, so what I want to point out is that there's a whole bunch of things down in here. Adjustable shelf is always going to be edge 1 long across the width. A cleat has 1 long edge. A door slab is edged all round. Drawbacks edge 1 long, but you've just got to get it into here in the correct dimension, the width wise and depth wise. Okay, something we use all the time is panel no edge. Panel no edge. It has no edge on it. There is no preset. So if you know what you want to make and you can set it up width and depth wise, we use that one all the time. So you know it doesn't come out with anything. There is no parameters preset in there. Okay. These splay pars, this one will automatically come out at 357 with 200 from the back to the front, to the from the back to the top of the 45. This one's going to be 300 to the back of the top of the 45. It's a 447 partition. It'll be 300 to the back of the top 45. Top shelf will always come out 1 long, so if you need a return on it, you got to put 1 on it. Okay. All right. So let's go and get these couple of items and send them out. When it's finished thinking about that, I'm just going to pop over to here. I'll send it out first. 14. Okay, I'm just going to pop over here into assembly, and you'll notice these are all of our parts, and you can start to see over here on the parameters what you can and can't turn off, keeping in mind that a 1 means that it's on, and a 0 means that you're turning it off. Some things, like a partition, automatically have the long edge on the sticker. You can turn it off by doing an E2 equals 0, but you're not going to see it here. But these things are the extra bits that you can turn on and turn off if you choose to. Okay, so but they're not all listed. You've got to experiment with a little bit to see what's what. And anyway, there's just a bit more of a guide. Okay, so let's just go back to Biessie Works. And let's go and get that program. Smith 14. Right click nest. Double click on here and we should have some more parts turn up. Now this is not a grain board, okay, so keep that in mind. This is set up as generic plain colour board. Okay, so all of our cam locks are in, ready to go. Our pre-drilling for our drawers are in. Everything, because of the way we put it in, it's then the computer will then turn it around 90 degrees or whatever it needs to do. And here's our original partition with the route turned off. Our edge R1 and our E2 is turned on. These here, one of them will be set, everything will be set back at 70 and 70. We used to do 69 and 70 and then put a 1mm edge on it on the front. And if you have a look very closely in here, there is a third hole, very small. That indicates that this is the front edge, and that's the edge that needs to be edged. Okay, the sticker will come out like that, but if you can tell the guys on the edge banders to use this as the front edge on a fixed shelf, it'll make everyone's life just that little bit easier. Okay, so that's about it for standard stuff coming out of Biessie Works. It's made the program very quick. It's also made the program that we can probably get installers to start doing check measures and basic cut sheets as a progression for our business. Alright guys, I hope that helps. The next thing I'm going to look at is the grain wardrobe, and we'll do that one in a few minutes.